What is up, everybody, and welcome to FLW Videos. I wanted to start this video off first by saying thank you so much for the support on the last video that I uploaded. Oh my gosh, it got over 1,500 likes. I'm super ecstatic about that. The support is very strong, so why not go ahead and move forward with the channel and keep that momentum going. So what we're going to be talking about today is the Pokemon Sylveon. So Sylveon got announced that it's going to be added into Pokemon Go on May 15th, and a lot of people are curious about this Pokemon from a raid perspective, PvP perspective. Should you unlock a secondary charge move? Should you power it up? And then of course, so many more questions that need to be answered in relation to investing in this Pokemon. And for everyone out there who is curious as to exactly how you can obtain Sylveon, well, what I'm going to do is actually upload a video in a couple of days where I'm going to be talking about how to get all of the evolutions. It's going to be taking a look at the past and then of course including the Pokemon Sylveon, so make sure that you are subscribed if you are interested in that. But anyways, if you do enjoy the deep dive series, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe. But without further ado, let's go ahead and get into the video. Sylveon with a max CP of 3,511 with a level 51 buddy boost. So Sylveon is a pure fairy type Pokemon, and a lot of people are excited about this Pokemon. It's been a favorite Pokemon from the main series. Anytime I see a new fairy type being added in and it gets a decent moveset, I'm excited about that. I feel like the fairy type has been kind of underrepresented in Pokemon Go. And then another bonus is that because we already have access to the shiny variation of Eevee, maybe you've already held off on one, well, you may end up being able to get your Pokédex entry for Sylveon to actually be the shiny variation of it. So I know a lot of people are excited and hyped about Sylveon being added into the game. So let's go and take a look at this Pokemon from a stat perspective. Now, as far as this Pokemon is concerned, the first thing that I noticed was that it is ranked 86th overall. That's impressive for a Pokemon that's not a legendary and it isn't a Mega Evolution Pokemon. There's a lot of competition to be going up against. As far as its best stat is concerned, we can see that it is its stamina stat ranked at 97, so definitely going to be a little bit tankier. The attack stat is a little bit on the low end, but not low enough to where it completely gets it out of the fight from the raid side as well as the PvP side. And then of course, when we're talking about the CPs, it does get past 3,000 CP even at level 40. So that's something to consider if you are not able to power it up to level 50. So by the way, a lot of people gave me the suggestion that I should not only do overall rankings, because for example, we saw that Sylveon was ranked at 86, but what I instead should do is also include the relative ranking where we can compare Sylveon versus other fairy type Pokemon. And that's exactly what I did, so definitely upgrading the series. Hopefully you do enjoy this, but this gives us a look at the fairy type Pokemon that we're competing against, and we can see that out of 43 fairy type Pokemon, we can see that Sylveon is ranked at 4th, which is very impressive. And of course, when you take a look at the Pokemon's stats, the stamina is actually ranked at 7th compared to all fairy type Pokemon, so there are definitely some tanks out there as far as the fairy typing is concerned. But hopefully you do enjoy this perspective. This is something that I decided that I should add and that a lot of people could find value from. So anyways, let's go ahead and take a look at the moveset. Oh yeah, we've got a ton of fairy type moves going on with this Pokemon. As far as the ideal moveset is concerned, I'm thinking most people are going to go with Charm and potentially Dazzling Gleam, maybe Moonblast from a PvP perspective, and then of course Last Resort. So it is important for us to pay attention to the moveset depending on how you want to use this Pokemon, because it's going to vary a little bit. So let's go ahead and dive into the raid side. We're going to go up against a Hydreigon. So Hydreigon is a dark as well as a dragon type, which is going to be double weak to the different fairy type attacks. So we've got a lot of fairy type Pokemon up here, or fairy type attackers in general. Now of course we've got Sylveon ranked in at that 4th position for these fairy types, and we can see that the ideal charge move is actually Dazzling Gleam from a raid perspective. So that's very important because PvP, it is not the same ideal move set. So as far as Sylveon is concerned, hey, you know what? If you don't have access to these other Pokemon, it really doesn't matter what's better. It matters what you have access to. So hopefully Sylveon is going to be completely accessible. The evolutions have been notorious for being great budget Pokemon, so hopefully that's what we're going to see out of Sylveon. Now, what's going to happen when we go up against a little bit of a different type of Pokemon and we are competing against many different Pokemon that will be super effective? So going up against a Kyurem, We're seeing fighting type Pokemon, steel type attackers, even rock type attackers. I mean, it's just everywhere. And if you go ahead and take a look at the bottom, you can see that Gardevoir, as the best fairy type attacker, even then is only being ranked at that 10th position. And as we talked with Sylveon beforehand, unfortunately, we've got Sylveon lower than Gardevoir, so it's really not looking solid from the raid side, but once again, it could be a great budget option. Now, when we go ahead and head over to the PvP side, we're actually seeing where its true value could end up lying. Now, as far as its best ranking is concerned, it does best in the Master League, where you go ahead and power this Pokemon up to level 50. But then also when you take a look at the Classic Master League, where you can power up Pokemon to level 40, you can see that Sylveon is being ranked at 38th, which is very impressive. And as far as its key wins are concerned, you can see you've got Giratina's up there and quite a few Pokemon that are very meta relevant. So this Pokemon could end up making a splash in Master League. But anyways, it's going to do best as an attacker, if you will, as far as the different roles are concerned in PvP. And then finally, when you take a look at those movesets, like we talked about before, you've got Charm, and in this case, you are going to want to go with Moonblast. You do have a chance of debuffing with that. I love using that on Cresselia, by the way. And then, of course, we've got Last Resort. So Last Resort is a conversation that is probably needed. It needs to be had. And the reason for that is because you've got the access to Last Resort through an Elite TM, and you could go ahead and gain access to it, but the more you kind of add on these little things to it, like, yeah, Sylveon will be great if you power it up to level 50, if you unlock the move Last Resort, but it's not going to be good from a raid perspective. So unfortunately, this Pokemon is not valuable in all ways in Pokemon Go, which makes it a little bit easier to make that investment. So as far as what I'm recommending for this Pokemon, I think it's going to be a ton of fun to have, but for me, it's mostly going to be a Pokédex entry and potentially be used from the PvP side. If I end up getting a couple of Elite Charge TMs just kind of left over, Sylveon's not on the top of my list as far as priority is concerned. But hey, I would love to know what you plan on doing with Sylveon in Pokemon Go. Do you want to use it from a raid side? Do you want to use it from the PvP side? Definitely let me know in the comment section. So anyways, I hope you did enjoy this episode. I want to go ahead and give a huge shout out to the Patreon community. By the way, I set up some new tiers over at Patreon. I now have a Discord where we're talking about Pokemon Go. We are coordinating for raids. So if you're interested in supporting the channel and you want to find a community like that, definitely feel free to check it out in the description. And I will see you next time.